Hey Calvary kids, welcome back to Moving Through the Bible. Last week we talked about Elijah and his faith in God and the wonders God performed for Elijah. Can you remember what type of animal gave Elijah food? It is similar to a crow. A raven. If you got it right, give yourself a pat on the back. Next, he helped a widow and they were able to eat a never-ending supply of bread. Did you bake bread yet? There's a recipe in the September Adventure Bag. Today, with your help, we will tell the story of Elijah at Mount Carmel, where God shows Israel that he is the one true God. Are you ready? Find a spot to sit where you can move around easily, and go find it! Great spot choice! Pick up your telescope and put it to one eye and adjust. Who is that? It's the mean King Ahab. Hold on to your feet, because here we go! We are in a valley next to a very dried up looking spring. Before we get up, we stick our tongues out. Remember, God is using a long drought or period of time without rain to show the mean King Ahab that God is the one true God. When it doesn't rain, lakes, rivers, and springs dry up. But that means that people aren't just thirsty. When there's no rain, that means crops cannot grow, so farmland can't make food. We stand up, spreading our feet wide as we see the prophet Elijah standing to one side. He puts his hands above his eyes as he sees Ahab coming. Ahab has an angry face, make your angry face, and he is swinging his arms wildly as he shuffles towards Elijah. Ahab says to Elijah, "Is that you, troublemaker?" Ahab thinks it's Elijah that is causing trouble by trying to bring glory to God. Elijah says confidently, "I have not made trouble for Israel." The trouble is that Israel, under Ahab's leadership, is turning away from God. Elijah tells Ahab, "Meet me at Mount Carmel. Bring the people of Israel and the prophets who worship false gods." Ooh, Elijah has a plan. We see a rabbit watching this conversation, and we decide to pretend to be a rabbit while we follow Elijah to Mount Carmel. We come down onto all fours. We come onto our rabbit paws. And now we curl our heads forward and we put our foreheads onto the mat. And then we move onto our hair and back, kind of like a little rabbit. Do you know what a rabbit sounds like? Yeah, neither do I. Let's just go with hop, hop, hop. The hop, hop, hop. I think that works pretty good. Here we are. We made it to Mount Carmel. We see King Ahab. Now he's swinging his arms angrily as he marches around. And all the prophets who worship false gods and all of the people of Israel are there. Elijah sets up the competition so that he can show everyone who the one true God is. They can see which God is able to send fire. The prophets of the false god go first, and they build an altar of stone for the fire to be sent to. We make ourselves into an altar shape by spreading our feet wide and sinking down and putting our arms up like the spot where they put the wood in the bowl. King Ahab's prophets put a bowl onto the altar. We sink down a little bit as they put the bowl on it. The prophets of Baal danced and cried for hours. "Answer us," they said. But of course, no one answered. Elijah, standing up, looking relaxed and confident, tilts his head to one side and then to the other, as if looking for a flame on their altar. "Shout loudly! Maybe he is sleeping," he's taunting them. It is now getting late in the day. Elijah calls everyone to him. He builds an altar, digs a trench around it, and then puts a bowl on it. Elijah told the people to pour water on the altar so that everything was wet. Hang on a second. Doesn't he want there to be fire? Can you start a fire with wet wood? No, we can't. But God can do anything. Let's see what happens. Elijah gets down into a prayer position and he says, "Lord, answer me so that these people will know that you, Lord, are God." God sends fire from the sky. We lift our hands up and move them around like flames. The bowl, the wood, the stones, and the dust are all burned up and the water in the trench dries up. When the Israelites see this, they fall face down and they say, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." After this, God sent a huge rain, which is awesome because remember, they really need rain. We sit down, we pretend to catch a couple raindrops in our mouths. Then we close our eyes and we think about God's mighty display of power on Mount Carmel. Thanks for helping me tell the story today. Today we learned that God is the one true God and the only one able to help us. Our memory verse this month is, I am the Lord. I will not give my glory to another. That's Isaiah 42, verse 8. You may not see God set fire to wet wood next time you're trying to have a campfire during the rainy season in Seattle, but He does perform miracles every day. An answered prayer, unexpected kindness from a stranger, or an opportunity that comes from a bad situation. He performs miracles in our lives all of the time, but the biggest miracle of all was when He sent His Son Jesus to save us. If you picked up an adventure bag, you might want to try making the Elijah and the altar firecraft. As you do it, think about how amazing it would have been to see a fire sent from God light up wet wood on Mount Carmel that day. That's it for today, Calvary Kids. I hope you have a wonderful week.
Killer.